Caring Assistance and WRMN AM 1410 present Silver Solutions Radio.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Silver Solutions Radio, your show for living long and aging strong. We're bringing you the show today because we're passionate about helping people, especially the seniors and people that are disabled in the community. We encourage you to call in with any questions. Our phone number here is 847-931-1410.
Our show is brought to you today by Right at Home. Your choice of senior care is broad, but when it comes to choosing the right care for a loved one, the choice is narrow. Right at Home. Our mission is to improve the quality of life for those we serve, and we fulfill that mission through the right people caring for your loved ones, the right in-home care services, and the right approach to ensure your peace of mind. Call us today, 877-ELDER-99. That's 877-353-3799.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jeanette Palmer, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Kathy Wetters. Jim Wojciechowski is probably like on some beach or spaceship or a desert island. Who knows where he is? Who knows where he is? But we'll find out next week where he is.
Yep. And
we're joined today by our guest, Maureen Jacobsen from Eastgate Manor in Algonquin. Maureen is the community liaison. Most of you probably know Maureen because she is a permanent fixture, which is nice to say because, you know, in home care, in this industry, I know that a lot of people move frequently, but Maureen is someone that is consistent and someone you can depend on. So we thought it'd be excellent to have her as our guest today. Welcome, Maureen.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here. It's always my pleasure to see you two ladies.
Yes.
We love you.
Thank you.
And so Maureen's from Eastgate Manor, and there's so many different things that are special about Eastgate Manor, and so I really feel that it's a community that you all need to know about, and so Maureen's here to tell us about it, and she may even offer a free visit. So listen.
You never know what can happen with this conversation. Exactly. Exactly. Well, Eastgate Manor is a supportive living community, and there is only approximately 143 supportive living communities in the state of Illinois. So I always tell people that it's a unique program. I kind of describe supportive living as a cross between independent and assisted living. However, it's really the financial component that makes us so unique. Individuals can come to Eastgate that are 65 and older, and perhaps they're either on a fixed income or they have limited resources. When they move into our community and their assets are then depleted, they can stay there without having to move out. It takes the financial burden off of the family members as well as the resident. It's one less move knowing that they can live in a community, have peace of mind, and get their care needs met by this wonderful supportive living program in the state of Illinois. It's just an amazing program that most people don't know about. There are some supportive living communities out there that are 22 to 64, and I believe you've had those.
Yes, we've had Deer Path of Huntley on.
Correct, yeah.
Yes.
So that would be one example of a supportive living community, and then we're 65 and older at Eastgate and Algonquin. So we have people that are much older than that are in their upper 90s, and we have people that are in their late 60s. So there's a wide range of individuals that do live there.
And even though it's supportive living, you can have your car, you can have pets. Like, no pets?
No, the pets can come and visit. They can absolutely come and stay for a visit, but we're in the business of taking care of people, and sometimes people can't take care of their pets, so then that becomes a challenge. Yeah, exactly. So we're in the business of people.
We know that from experience ourselves because we have this Dementia Live program that we put on. And when I was having it for the Hoffman Estates Fire Department, what was happening is one of the assignments is to feed the dog.
Yes.
And the dog never got fed.
Yeah.
And so we know, that the animals are the first to go, like in the way of care. If you can't care for yourself, you can't care for an animal. So.
Right, and that's the philosophy we take on too. So we do a great job at taking care of people, and they can certainly come and visit, and that is still very rewarding for our residents if they do have a pet, whether it's a cat or a dog or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yes, people do have cars, and they can come and go as they please, and maybe they even want to go on a trip with their kids to Florida for a week. They can certainly do that as long as they let us know. Maybe we'll join them. Who knows?
Nice.
And
depends on where in Florida.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. And then they can also have their grandkids or family members over for a couple of nights as well. So it is their home.
Oh, okay. And so having their grandkids or family members for a couple of nights, how does that work?
So they just need to let us know who's in the building so we can make sure that everybody's safe at all times if there was ever an emergency. So they let the front desk know. They would just stay in their apartment. So if they had an extra room or a pull-out bed, they can certainly stay there with, of course, their permission. And then they can come and stay, have a meal with us. They would just pay for those meals, which is a $7 charge per person.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had someone that stayed in an assisted living community once in another suburb, and the son from downstate would come about once a month, and they had a little pull out, and the mom really so enjoyed that, him coming, and he ate in the cafeteria with her. It means a lot when they know that they can make it their home.
Right. Right.
It doesn't feel like a facility then. It just feels like this is my new home.
Right. And it is their home. So people come there and they age in place. So maybe they come in the beginning and they're completely independent, and along the way perhaps they need some services. So if that's the case, we can provide for them medication reminders, assistance with dressing and grooming, escorts to meals and activities. We can also do a little bit of toileting as well. So there's definitely services that we can provide. Our goal is to have people move in a little earlier than later so we can extend their longevity, keep them more independent. So we're not looking to take their independence away. We're looking to extend their independence with support as needed. That's our goal at Eastgate.
Now, whereabouts in Algonquin are you located, for those that are kind of sort of familiar with the area that want to maybe figure out where you're at?
Yeah, great question. So everybody knows where the river is in Algonquin. So on Algonquin Road, we are east of the river, across the street from St. Margaret Mary's, and right next door, walking distance to McDonald's. So we're set back a little bit beyond the strip mall. So you turn left at Eastgate Drive, and you'll see our signs in our 3-story building. Yeah, so east of the river.
Oh, nice.
Through the woods, right?
Through the woods and east of the river, yeah.
Right.
And so talking about the woods, there's a walking path, isn't there?
There is a beautiful walking path. So to give you perspective, all you listeners out there, to give you perspective on the size of our building, 4 times around our building is a mile. So think about, how much, yes, it's a great size, great, beautiful walking path, and benches throughout. So you can see some of those pictures at eastgatemanor.com for some photos of our building, as well as there's some videos and other great resources on our website.
Excellent. And so tell us, do you have like a chef there? Is there like meat? I know I've been there it's like a restaurant, and when I've eaten there, the food is fantastic. So tell the listeners about that.
Yes, I don't think we get complaints very often, definitely not from our guests. And we have an amazing chef that's been with the company for 14 plus years. He came from Lexington, our sister company, but he prepares 3 fresh in-house meals a day, and we're providing meals 6 times a day. So we're serving breakfast 2 different meal times, lunch 2 different times, as well as dinner. And just about 90% is made fresh in-house daily, including our soup. And he made chili yesterday, which is one of my favorites, of course, and chicken rice soup. But our residents do have 2 options for lunch and 2 different options for dinner. And if they don't like the options that we're serving at Eastgate, we have an alternate menu with approximately 20 different items on there. So you're never bored with the food. We're not telling you what you have to eat. You can pick and choose. If you're diabetic, there's definitely sugar-free options that are available as well. And then the menu that we present this week doesn't repeat itself for a 9-week cycle. So
that's a lot of
you're
variety.
not bored with the food. There are a few items that repeat itself, but it's voted on by our residents and resident council. So definitely tacos is a favorite, amongst many other things too. Yeah. So they might even gain a couple pounds when they move into Eastgate.
And that's something that we find frequently, is that it's not as interesting to eat alone, and so we find a lot of the clients that we serve, it benefits them by having someone prepare a meal for them. But we know too that it's the loneliness makes people lose weight. So I know in your community it's so friendly and welcoming that people, I think, make new friends easily there.
Yeah, when people come into our community, even if it's the first time, they say that it's cozy and homey and comfortable. Those are the words that we hear when people walk in. Sometimes people will say it feels like a small hotel, but that's really our goal, is that people feel comfortable, because the philosophy we take on is that we work in our residence home.
Oh.
So we have that open door policy, and nothing's a problem, and it is the residence home, and there's a lot of dignity and respect that go along with that. So I think we do an excellent job in letting our residents know that this is their home, and they can come to us at any time they need something.
And I have to believe that that's working well, because whenever I'm there, I still see consistent staff. And in the industry, staff, you may not know this like in the real world, but in this industry, the staff turns over frequently, you know. And so I've been in the business now for 15 years. I've probably been visiting Eastgate for 10 years, and the staff is all still there. So I have to believe that, you know, the staff is happy there, and clearly they're all doing a good job, because they wouldn't still be there if they weren't. And Maureen obviously is doing a good job.
Thank you. I'll make sure my boss listens to this. Yeah, I've actually been there. My sister asked me today, how long have you been there? I've been with Eastgate 9 years and like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I was like, wow, I had to think about that, but time goes by so quickly. But yes, I'm well woven in the community for sure.
What struck me is when you go into kind of the main lobby area, the number of people that are sitting around, you know, chatting. That says a lot when you walk in and folks are congregating and talking. That means they're happy with their fellow residents.
Absolutely. They have made friends there, lifetime friends there, and we really want them out of their apartments. We do not want them sitting in their apartments all day. There is great quality of life to be lived regardless of age, and so people should be out of their apartments engaging in activities and friendships and outings, and that's all things that in a sense will take their mind off of any aches and pains or challenges that they're struggling with. So it's great for them to be out of their apartment and really to engage in those relationships.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so do you offer like physical therapy or anything like that in the building, or is it exercise class?
Yeah, we have quite a variety of exercise, physical therapy. We do have in-house 7 days a week. We work with a company that does come in and provides that service. We do have chair exercises that are Monday through Friday in the morning at 9 a.m. So everybody congregates in our town square and gets their exercise in, which is always fun. And then amongst other activities, one of the things is Tai Chi. So that's another. It's difficult. Do you guys ever do Tai Chi?
No.
It's not that easy.
We were talking about Star Wars earlier today, and that makes me reminds me of like Yoda. You know, and the practicing it, because the whole control is the whole key to it.
Yeah. It looks easy, and I tried it, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is really not so easy. So
does it require flexibility to kind of do the different?
No, I don't think so. I think they just do what they can do and not push it. So I think as you progress and continue to do it, then you become a little more flexible. So I guess any movement is great for your body at any age, right?
Right. That's right.
Yes. Yeah. So that's important that they exercise. So they do get out of their room to do that, and like I said, have the physical therapy you talked about.
When folks first kind of come to tour, are there some like typical questions that you hear, kind of hear over and over from that maybe some listeners are thinking, but they wish they could ask you?
The one thing that is a consistent obstacle, I want to call it an obstacle that comes in, is the adult child comes in and they have no idea what their mom or dad wants. And a crisis has occurred, and so they don't know what questions to ask. And for me, that's probably where it really pulls at my heartstrings, is that I might even know their mom or dad through community events, and they haven't shared with their children what they want, what their financial situation's like, where they see themselves, and then all of a sudden something happened. Perhaps they had a fall, whatever the case might be, and now the adult child is just in so much pain, taking time off of work and really not knowing how to navigate the system. I relate it a lot to viewing a college for your child. It's kind of like you go on a campus and I really related a lot because that tells you where I'm at in life, right? You got to feel the community. You don't know always what questions to ask if it's your first child. Well, if it's the first time they're going through that with a parent, they don't know what questions to ask, and a lot of times they leave overwhelmed but grateful because it's a lot of information. Carrie Svensson, our Director of Admissions, does a great job with sharing, the information and helping guide the process because it is so overwhelming. So for those listeners out there, if you have not had a plan or thought about a plan, please put a plan in place for yourself. 1, 3, 5 years. Think about it. Tell your loved ones. It is the best gift you can give your child is by having a plan in place.
So true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We
find that frequently, and in fact, that's why we started the show, was because when people call us, it's always a crisis. And by having guests like you, Maureen, to explain, that there are solutions to that crisis, to think ahead about it, to take a little time and visit the college, so to speak, to know what to expect.
Yeah, absolutely, because the unexpected does happen. So we just never know when that will be. And I will also say, too, that, people can be overwhelmed in the process. But to continue to proceed with that and digest the information, and if you walk into a community and you don't feel good about it when you walk in, I always say just leave. Don't waste your time. Move on to the next community. A lot of other people do think a myth about our community is they can't afford us, and that absolutely is not true because we do have the supportive living program. So people out there will say, oh, all I have is my Social Security income, so I cannot afford your community. So I want to say to those people, you absolutely can afford it. The supportive living program is designed specifically for you then, and that would be a reason to make sure you reach out to either Eastgate or a supportive living community in the state of Illinois.
Now, am I correct that in supportive living you have to have like X% of your spaces have to be reserved for folks that need it? Is that correct?
Yeah, each community, Kathy, is going to be a little bit different. Eastgate specifically is not a tax credit, so we by law only have to have 25% of Medicaid.
Gotcha.
But then there's also tax credit buildings out there that can be 100% Medicaid.
Gotcha.
So we do have, quite a balance between private pay and Medicaid as well. But if people can come in with some assets, it's definitely going to allow them some more options.
But they have that feeling that they have a floor underneath them if they spend through their assets that they're going to get to stay.
Absolutely.
And that's something unique about Eastgate, too, is the fact that you don't move them into, like, a Medicaid room.
Right. Yes, there are places out there.
They stay in their same.
Yeah.
Yes, they absolutely do. So there's so much dignity in the aging process, and they're to be respected, in my professional opinion. But whatever apartment our residents move into is the apartment they stay in, regardless of payer source and regardless of care level. So it's not anybody else's business what their financial situation is, right? So you stay, whatever apartment you move into is where you stay till we can no longer care for you. And we are associated with Lexington Health Network. That's our sister company. When choosing Eastgate, you are also choosing an option, which is Lexington. So if you need long-term care at some point, or let's just say even short-term care, you can automatically go into one of our 10 Lexington locations and have automatic placement there without having to wait, especially being on Medicaid. That's a huge factor in today's world.
Family, that's a real quandary that throws the family in, is when they're looking for a skilled nursing that takes Medicaid, they're
a waiting list,
they're
isn't there?
limited. Yeah.
Well, there is definitely a waiting list, and now a lot of skilled nursing facilities are saying, well, you can come to us, but you have to have a year's worth of private funds first. Well, at $300 or $400 a day, you guys do the math. That's pretty costly.
Yes.
And most people don't have the long-term care insurance, So it's definitely something to think about because people end up being completely surprised by the cost, as well as, oh my gosh, I had no idea that I have to have a year's worth of funds going into this skilled facility. And most people that are 95 probably don't have that kind of resource.
So the fact that you're in network with Lexington is a really big plus that everyone might not consider.
Absolutely. And that's a question I would tell you, listeners, to ask when you're touring communities is what does life look like after your supportive living community you're in?
Yeah, and I have to say, too, that with the Lexington network, my mother was in Lexington and Streamwood, and that same sense of dignity, where she qualified for Medicaid but didn't have to move her room. So again, no one knows, and I think that's something too that at end of life, it's not something that you should have to worry about or feel bad about. The fact of the matter is that you're there to be cared for, and that's all that really matters.
Right. Yes. You don't want to have to worry about that. Exactly.
Yeah.
What are some favorite activities among your group of residents?
Oh, they love to go on outings, and they pick our outings.
I'm
so
just looking at, there's a great selection of gallery pictures on the website at eastgatemanor.com. So I'm looking at it right now, and I just was bringing up the bus and seeing everybody go out there. So they look like they all have big smiles on their faces.
Yes, they do. They love to go on outings, and they actually pick our outings in activity council. So we'll do things like White Fence Farm, or they'll pick their favorite restaurants they want to go to. We've done the casino. That seems to be a popular one. We've gone to the Botanical Gardens, the Chicago Symphony. We'll go to the local high schools and watch a play. So there's plenty of things that they get to choose from that they want to do. So they're not bored. We have a joke in our building that if you're bored, it's your own fault.
That's so true.
It's true, yeah, because there's activities in the building too that happen all the time. I know that you have an activity schedule that's filled with several things every day. So
yes, we have activities 7 days a week from early morning to early evening, and that's approximately 365 activities a month, approximately. So you get to pick and choose what you want to do. And when somebody moves in, we're doing an activity assessment. We want to get to know them. They're now part of our family, whether they like that or not. That's the truth. We become family. We think it's pretty great, actually. And then we want to get to know who our residents are. So we find out what things interest them. And if we're offering it, great. If we're not, then we want to add it to the schedule to make sure that they're getting those needs met.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. How does one go and find out more information? You talked about doing tours or what screening, what qualifications and all that.
That's a perfect segue. Tell her about that event that's coming up.
Yeah, so we're celebrating, exactly, thank you. We're celebrating Supportive Living Week. So the end of April, statewide, every supportive living community should be opening their door to talk about the benefits of supportive living in Illinois. Ours is April 19th. It's a Wednesday at 11 a.m. And we are, the theme this year is Happiness is Ageless. So we're having a laughter specialist come in and talk to us about the benefits of laughter and humor, and she'll present to us, and then everybody will get to enjoy a wonderful, delicious chef-prepared meal on us. There's no cost. You do have to call 847-458-2800 to RSVP. So please make sure that space is limited. It is a free event, but again, that's April 19th at 11 a.m. at Eastgate Manor in Algonquin.
And laughter promotes healthy aging, right?
Yes, it does. It feels good to laugh, doesn't it?
It really does,
yes. Feels good to laugh.
Yeah, my kids think it's hilarious when I get a laughing attack. They're so rare, but, then maybe that's the part of it that,
They're like, Mom laughed. Wow.
That's right. Yeah.
But if that doesn't work for our listeners, then they can call 847-458-2800 and ask for our Director of Admissions, Carrie, or myself. And we'd love to schedule a tour for you to come in, gather information. We can give you our points of distinctions and show you around our community and just help you start the process. So we're available with a scheduled appointment, so just give us a call.
Thank you.
Now, is there ever an opportunity to have a respite stay? I know that would probably be depending on your open rooms. Do you ever?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kathy. Most communities will offer a respite stay according to supportive living regulations. Unfortunately, we cannot do a respite stay.
Okay.
So assisted livings can, of course, but and Lexington can, but we don't do a respite at Eastgate.
Because of your license.
Our license,
supportive
correct.
living. I got it.
Yeah, which is HFS. Our license is under HFS.
Oh, okay.
And then if the resident qualified for that aid in attendance, is that a benefit that they can use to be in your facility?
Yes, so we do accept aid in attendance. We can help you with that process. My understanding is that they do need 2 personal care services, which would be any of the services that we offered, and then they can qualify for the aid in attendance.
Okay.
Yeah,
For the veterans. Yeah.
Veterans benefits, correct.
And their spouses.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Explain to me, if you don't mind, explain that aid in attendance a little bit, what that means.
So,
You're talking, obviously, it's a veterans program.
It's a veterans benefit, yes, that not very many people are aware of.
Right.
That we're always trying to educate the consumers to say that if you're a veteran and you were discharged during a war time, honorably discharged, that you may be entitled to benefits, as well as your spouse or your widow.
Survivor, right? Okay.
As long as there was never a divorce. You know? And that's something that I'm really passionate about, in the sense that my mother would have been entitled to those benefits had she known about them. And instead she lived on $600 a month Social Security, and this could have added like $1,000 a month to her, to her bank account, and quality of living. And so you do have to go to the VA to be checked out by a VA doctor and be in the VA system before you can even qualify. But there's a lot of ins and outs of the system, so you want to have someone that's well versed and experienced in applying for that benefit. And we
liaison,
always,
so you do it right, because I assume that there's always the dotting on the I's and the T's is just enough to keep you from getting a benefit that you deserve, but because you didn't have that guidance or somebody directing you exactly how to complete those forms, you ended up being on the short stick, really.
Right.
Next month, I think we're going to be lucky enough to have Jacob Zimmerman from the Kane County Veterans Assistance Commission. He's going to be our guest and kind of dig into that a little deeper. But you guys help in getting the right resources to apply. Correct?
We'll guide them in the direction and give them the resources of who to connect with. And we will do the actual Medicaid application for our residents at Eastgate, so family does not have to worry about that, because that too is tedious, like the veterans benefit application.
Yeah, and it is. And if you don't get it right, then you start over again, And so time is important. Time is of the essence. So obviously you want to have it submitted correctly the first time.
Right. Do you ever get comments that surprise you, where someone that has just moved in a little while and they say, "Wow, I didn't know," kind of something that surprised them about living there? Can you think of anything?
Oh, they always say, "I wish I would have done it sooner," because that's the common thread. So most people are, and rightfully so, fearful, scared, reserved, not sure, have anxiety about a move. And a move at any age is all of those things. And then when you're an older adult, it's even more so. So they usually say, after they're settled and kind of in the structure a little bit, "I wish I would have done this sooner. This is not what I thought." And, you wish people would listen to that, but they have to go. It's a process. Everything is a process. They just have to work through it. But that's the common thread. That's what we hear. And I'm just glad that they made the decision to finally come.
Yes.
Right.
And so, it's only a half an hour show, Maureen, so it's already over.
I can't believe it. Where does time go? I could talk for another hour or two.
I know. That's good.
I'm not shy about talking.
We're glad you're not. So if you would give the listeners your contact information again, and tell them again about that event that you have coming up.
Yes, thank you. 847-458-2800 is our main number at Eastgate Manor, and you can also go to our website at eastgatemanor.com. And our event is April 19th. It's a Wednesday, and that would be for individuals that are looking to come out and laugh and have a great lunch. You have to bring your smiles with you. It's at 11 a.m., but please do make sure you RSVP. It's our pleasure to offer these events for free, but we do need you to RSVP again at 847-458-2800. And be prepared to laugh and have a good lunch and enjoy a wonderful day at Eastgate Manor.
Nice.
Thank you, Maureen,
Thank
so much.
you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being our guest. We appreciate it.
Are you compassionate and driven by a desire to help others in need? If so, give Right at Home a call. We are looking for you to be one of our caregivers. The web address, and write this down, is rightathome.net. So if you're looking for a caregiving position, please give us a call. Today's show is brought to you by Right at Home. The 4 pillars of right care from Right at Home mean that your loved one is cared for by the right people, doing the right things, the right way, for the right reason. Make the right choice today. Call us 877-ELDER99, 877-353-3799. Don't touch that radio dial. Stay tuned right here for the Radio Shopping Show on WRMN AM 1410. See you next week at 9:30 for Silver Solutions Radio.